back for the last segment, Smoke and Mirrors. I'm Jay Weidner. I remind everybody that our new film, my new film, Infinity, The Ultimate Trip, is opening across the United States over the next couple months. And if you'd like to see it, or if you'd like to show it, or you want to know more information about it, you can go to sacredmysteries.com. There's a little banner on the right. It tells you how to find out all you can about this film. It's got reaching critical acclaim. It's got Robert Thurman, Neil Donald Walsh, Greg Braden. Everybody's in it. Alberto Villoldo, Ponlap Rinpoche. It's about life after death, and it's really good. And it's sort of about what we're talking about here tonight. So I want you to see it. We are going through a major change. It's not just switching over to the age of Aquarius from the Mayan calendar. It's really the culmination of a 6,000 or 10,000 or 12,000 year historical period. And I think you're right, Tad. I think we're in for the most gigantic change since the discovery of fire. I don't know. And we're running out of energy. We're losing our topsoil. The oceans are being fished out. Water is becoming a very, very difficult thing for people to find on the planet. Australia's in a drought. Argentina's in a drought. Israel's in a drought. California's in a drought. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so when you look down the pike here, what do you see happening as far as what's going on in the world around us?
Well, I mean, obviously, what's happening is something that is not just temporary, and it's not just a little glitch where, the economic problems that we've experienced in this country recently, if you're an astrologer, as I have been for quite a long time, we not only look at what's happening, but we also try to understand what is it that is triggering these particular qualities. And, for example, I mean, an aspect that's going on right at the moment is Saturn directly opposite to Uranus. And, Saturn is the whole principle of things remaining the same, of structures that, are okay, and we don't really need to do a lot about them. But Uranus directly opposite Saturn is saying to us something profoundly different. It's saying these structures are not only not good, but they're killing us. They're killing the planet. And unless we wake up to this soon, we're going to actually be in such deep trouble that it's unbelievable. And, of course, we're seeing the signs of this all over the place. But the primary issue is, and it's not necessarily just to scare the hell out of people, but the primary issue is that we need to make changes in the way we see the world personally, the way we understand our day-to-day lives and what we need to survive, the way we need to go about this process. And I think it all actually begins and ends with, our individual nature. And once we discover this spirituality of the early cultures that we were talking about earlier, Jay, was very much about the fact that there was a reverence for the earth of everyone. All of the religions, all of the early matriarchal cultures in particular, were really reverent about the earth, and they saw the earth not as a god or a goddess necessarily, but of course they did. And they were right, because it is our goddess. It is something so fundamental to the way that we live in this world that we have to respect it, because if we don't, then we're going to pay a huge penalty. And I think that what's going on at the moment, I think it's really, at some level, a kind of communication with the goddess. The goddess is saying to us, basically, you need to change. And it's not just about, recycling. It's about something much deeper, much more profound. And, I know that you've been interested in these ideas for an awful long time. Your wife has as well. And, and I'm also one of the people who has been writing books continuously about, they look on the surface like they're about astrology, but in reality, it's actually about something much deeper. We're just symptoms of a very deep kind of affliction that we need to kind of cure. And the only way we can cure it is collectively, and we need to really marshal our forces to do so.
Yeah, we're having, in some ways, we're having a an argument or a collective heated discussion, I'll say, right now. And the internet, of course, and shows like this and films and things are facilitating this heated discussion. And this is the first time that this has ever happened in world history, that we've all been able to do this. And out of this is people are comparing notes, and smart people are reaching conclusions. And this is also the first time. We used to be divided by race and country and sex and blah, blah, blah. Well, we're not that way anymore. Right now we're being divided by the things that are dividing us on the internet, which is basically our interests and our intelligence. And the intelligent people are reaching conclusions, and it's historical. It's nothing has ever happened like this.
Astrology is seen by the scientific community as being something very retro. It isn't really very relevant, and yet at the same time, it actually is. It's extraordinarily relevant, and there's been, a world-changing shift that's happened in the 30, 40 years that I've been doing it, which is that people like myself, with a 5-year architecture degree from one of the best Ivy League schools, are beginning to really not only take astrology seriously, but realizing that it almost actually has a kind of like a worldview that has to be respected.